Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. What a show today. You know, so many people have been reaching out to me and they say, Andy, you need to get a real estate expert on the show. You need to bring in a worldwide leader. We want to know what's going on in the real estate field. And I agree, we need to know what's happening in real estate. And I've been able to book Mr. Phil Pustejovsky. And Phil, you probably know from his very popular YouTube channel, millions of views. He's done over 3,000 deals himself in real estate. He is the CEO of Freedom Mentor. And I'm so excited to have Phil on the show. He's such an expert. We're going to get right into it because time is of the essence. Phil, welcome to the show.
Andy, thanks for having me.
This is so great. You're an investor, you're a mentor, you're a coach to many of the most successful real estate professionals in North America. You're a best-selling author. You've got your very popular YouTube channel. I think you've got over 20 million views. Everybody knows the whiteboard behind you if they watch your YouTube channel. Let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet, Phil, real quick, and tell us about Freedom Mentor, and then we're going to get into it.
Sure. So Freedom Mentor is my company where we mentor and train, and we take complete beginners and we turn them into first-class, market-leading real estate professionals. And as you had mentioned, many of the most successful real estate investors right now in North America, if you ask them where they got their start, it was from our group.
I love it, Phil. I love it. And of course, your mission really is to provide the most complete, accurate, and unbiased real estate investment information that is available. Your education and training materials are unmatched. Use the latest cutting-edge tools to help your clients or your students with really great strategy on buying and selling real estate. So let's get into it, Phil. When somebody reaches out to you, what do they say? Do they say, Phil, I want to get into real estate investing. Teach me. I need a Yoda. I need someone to teach me how to do it.
Well, usually what's happening is people come in, whether through maybe it's a comment on a YouTube channel or reaching out to our organization with preconceived notions about real estate. Most people have lived in a house. A lot of people have bought a house. Many people have watched some television program, whether it's a streaming or it's something on a cable network, and they think they understand what's going on. And so usually what happens is we have to change their entire understanding of how real estate works. And that's why when you mentioned about our education, so much of what we do is given away for free. Because first and foremost, if I'm ever going to mentor anybody, Andy, I've got to get them to understand the true fundamentals. We look at it like there's so much bad information in today's information world that we're trying to be a source for truth, for wisdom, for what we call signal. So when you hear it coming from us, you can go try that, what I taught you in the real world, and you'll find out that it worked. You'll come back to me and go, wow, you were right, Phil. How did you know that? So our goal is to first and foremost educate anyone we're going to work with as much as we can. That gives us a foundation so that now we can turn them into a real estate money-making machine. But it doesn't start with someone first jumping in and we give them 2 quick tips and they're a billionaire. No, we've got to build a foundation of the correct understanding first.
I love it so much. You've helped so many people from all walks of life, you know, from housewives to corporate executives, military men and women. You've taken unemployed people, disabled retirees, and so many others have seen the power of what you've been able to do with your unique profit sharing formula. But let's talk about it a little bit, Phil, because you say that you teach the basics. You want to get the good foundation. And of course, as a good entrepreneur, we always know how important the good foundation is. So how long does it take for a person that doesn't know much about real estate to learn the foundations through your training program?
I love that question because I think a lot of people would hope that it's a one weekend seminar, right, Andy? One weekend, you're going to figure it all out. I mean, it usually takes us several months for us to pour into someone, to teach them so much that they didn't realize they didn't know. A lot of times, like I said, they bring bad ideas that they thought they understood. So we have to first unlearn some bad habits and teach them every step of the way. So yeah, it can take several months. This is not a get rich quick. What I love about real estate is how much money you can make. But it's also one of those processes that we have to work with someone day in, day out. No, it's not a weekend seminar. And they slowly begin to learn. And you know this, and anyone watching would recognize that you don't learn a great skill in a few days, right? I mean, people go to become a doctor over many years. So what we try to do is condense what we've learned as efficiently as we can be, but there are limitations, right? And as Albert Einstein said, you want to make it as simple as possible, but no simpler. We're making it as simple as possible, but no simpler.
I love it, Phil. And of course, you offer the free course. How often do I get to come to the free course? Is this something that gives me an introduction into your program, Phil, at Freedom Mentor? How long is the free course? If I want to sign up, how do I do that? Because everybody's raving about this course.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's over 30 hours of education, and you get to go through it at your leisure. And so the idea being, get to know how this really works. And then you're going to be in a position where now you're going to see just how important it is to work with the very best if you're going to go up there against the competition we have out there today. So often you hear where people tell you how easy it's going to be in real estate. Well, I got news for you. There's a lot of competition. It makes a lot of money. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of other smart people who have lots of money and business experience into the same industry, looking to do the very same deals as literally a complete beginner. So how can you have this ability to leapfrog over what is already entrenched competition? That is, you've got to have the right mindset, but you really got to have the right mentor on your team. They can be in your corner. So when you go into that ring, you're going to win, and they're going to think, wait a minute, this person's brand new. I can't tell you the number of times, Andy, closing attorneys, title companies have said to me and my team, now, wait a minute, how did Jaron here, how did he get his first deal and make almost $70,000? I've been a title agent for 20 years, and this person doesn't even know what recording taxes are. How did he get a deal this good? And Jaron says, well, it's because I'm working with the best. And when you work with the best, they can help you leapfrog over what is the challenges that most people are going to meet when they go out there and try to do it on their own.
Yeah, I love it so much, Phil. And one thing that is very attractive about your program at Freedom Mentor is you tell it like it is. You say to your people, listen, it's not easy. This is something that has a lot of competition. This is something that you can go down a very dark road very quickly if you make the wrong move. You tell your clients that, we're here for you to help you. We're a partner with you. We'll hold your hand through the process, but you're going to need to put some hard work into this thing versus some of the other sort of classes that we've investigated. They say it's, overnight success, and we'll teach you everything you need to know in a couple hours, and you'll go out and make millions of dollars. It's not like that with the Freedom Mentor. So this is for people that want to get serious. This is for people that really want to make an action step to better their lives and know that it's going to take some time and a lot of effort to do so. So let's talk about that a little bit, because you have so many success stories. Why is your program so much different and better than the ones that are offering this overnight success course?
Well, maybe we can ask another question, and that is, so Phil, if you're so rich and successful at real estate, why are you gonna teach me? Right? I mean, that's the question people have been asking of every seminar guru on every television program for the last 50 years. If you're so good at it, why are you telling me? Well, here's the answer. Our entire Freedom Mentor program is predicated and designed around sharing in profits with the people we work with. we split the net profits 50-50. So we call this mutually aligned interests. And that means that when our pupil, when our apprentice succeeds, we succeed. What that does is that brings both of our economic interests together, aligned, and that is what produces such amazing results. We put our money where our mouth is. We say that it's great. We say that we can teach people how to do it, and then we share in the profits when we produce what we said we could do. So what makes this different? Go look out there and try to find any other educational organization out there that's going to teach you real estate investing, that's going to be successful in today's market, and they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. In fact, we also fund deals too, Andy. So in fact, right after this interview, I'm going to be wiring $167,500 of my money into a closing attorney's escrow account in South Carolina to fund a real estate deal for one of our apprentices. We put our money where our mouth is. We put our energy, we put our focus in helping our apprentices close deals because we make half the profits. So the analogy we like to use, Andy, it's a Friday afternoon and we're about to step in, and this is COVID now, may change this analogy, but we would step into a movie theater to watch a movie. And if we didn't split in profits, if we just got our money up front to consult them, and they had a problem on their closing, and they were at the closing table on Friday afternoon, and they reached out to us, we wouldn't pick up the phone, if we're being honest. But we are sharing in the profits. So we will step out of that theater, we'll stop watching the movie, we'll pick up the phone, and we'll make sure the deal closes. Why? Because we split the profits. When you align the interests with the mentor you're working with, you're going to get the best of the best. So we built our business on the mutually aligned interests. We felt that if we did it that way, we would always stay on the cutting edge. We would be forced to get better and better and better because we've got to stay ahead of the entire competition because we have a huge handicap, Andy. We don't get to hire, or if you will, we don't get to recruit the top prospects, right? We're not getting the number one pick in the draft. We're taking, in many cases, beginners. So our coaching of our team has to be so good that we're going to take the ones that were picked last, like the Tom Brady's. We got to get the ones at the 6th round of the draft, and we got to get them to beat the first rounders. And so what we're doing is been tested at such a level. It's been hardened and fine-tuned at such a level because we share in profits. And that's how we're able to do what no one's ever been able to do before in the history of our industry.
I love it, Phil, so much. In the old days, we used to call it skin in the game, and you actually put the skin in the game with your clients and with the people that you're mentoring, with the people that you're coaching. It's really, really refreshing and super cool idea. And obviously, you have a super successful sauce going here, Phil, and it's congratulations to you for doing it at Freedom Mentor. Let's talk a little bit about sort of the process. And I know that people can come in, they can get the free course, they can learn more about you, they can watch your YouTube videos on the famous whiteboard you have behind you. And for those people that don't know, Phil has become very well known and famous on YouTube for using the whiteboard to explain very complex things in a very simplistic way. And it's very fun to watch if you haven't seen it. But Phil, when we think about the real estate industry right now, where's it all at? You know, where's the opportunity? Is the opportunity when people have tax problems? Is the opportunity to buy houses like you see on TV and flip them? Where's the money right now?
Well, what's so important to ask ourselves is if we're going to go into an industry that is time tested, people have made more money in real estate than in their industry in history. How can you position yourself so you're always in the right position, right? Because we know the market's going to change, and then it's going to change again, and then it's going to change again. How do we position ourselves so that we're always successful? You see, Andy, we made a fortune in the mid to early 2000s when the market was going sky high, and that was irrational. And I can go into more detail if we want to on why that was so irrational. But then we had this real estate collapse in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. We made money all the way down that curve by doing short sales. And then when the curve started to come back up in mid-2011, and it's still climbing now, in fact, recently it's been exploding upward because of COVID, how have we always made money no matter what's going on? And we make money in hot markets in parts of North America, markets that have always been declining, markets that are always kind of in the middle. How do we make money no matter what the macroeconomic situation is, and regardless of what each market we're dealing with individually? Because real estate is individual, right? Where you're sitting, where you're living right now is a different market than where I'm sitting right now. We're all different. How do we make money no matter what? Here's the simple answer. We have a methodology whereby we focus on generating leads, we call them, or deals, you may refer to them as, that no one else knows are for sale. We call them off market. So that means that it's not listed with the real estate agent. It means that you can't go to some auction website and see that it's for sale. It's not for sale to the public. Nobody knows it's for sale. And those will always exist. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We work directly with sellers. And then we work out a creative solution so that it does well for the seller. They say yes, and we make a profit. And real estate has many ways in which you can acquire creatively that doesn't require you going to get a bank loan, requiring a down payment. In fact, I taught a college class on this at the University of Central Florida. We call it creative real estate investing. And it's the idea that we're going to work directly with the seller and we're going to negotiate a set of terms so that we can acquire the property creatively and ultimately with the highest profit and the lowest form of any risk, if at all. And so this allows us, whether the times are good, times are bad, times are whatever, to always make money. You see, so many are focused on predicting the future. What's going to happen next? I got news for you. Everybody's terrible at predicting the future. Everyone is. If they weren't, the people that were brilliant at predicting the future would be trillionaires because they would be able to trade currency futures and other futures, and they'd be billionaires. But it doesn't work that way. We're all bad at predicting the future. In fact, books have proven that. We don't try to predict the future. Our goal is to make sure that we produce deals in the present. And we have methodologies in which to always be making money in the present. So in addition to structuring a creative deal, we then try to turn that deal into money. And that gets obviously pretty complicated depending on the situation. But what we end up doing is creating a skill for someone that they can take with them the rest of their lives, right? So not just today or tomorrow, in a year from now, and 2 years from now, but 15 years from now, that which I have taught them, that which my team and I have mentored into them, they can take with them the rest of their lives and always be making a lot of money. In fact, I had a graduate of my program came down. I live in Florida. Came down to Disney, take their kids, and they wanted to stop by and see me. And they came by, and it was so much fun. And they made over $1 million this year. I stopped mentoring them almost 3 years ago. So they've just made more and more and more and more money. And it's great to see one of my graduates, and see how they're doing. And so that is what we're doing. Our methodology is not about what's going on today. It's about always having a way to make money. Now, I will say real quickly about today, we have the lowest inventory levels in recorded history, meaning there's very little properties for sale. There's huge demand. Interest rates are low. And so I've been telling everybody that these are the glory days. Andy, right here. I mean, if I had a guitar, I'd start singing Bruce Springsteen's Glory Days. They're right now in real estate. We're making a fortune. We had a deal closed this morning, made a little over $85,000 net profit on a deal in Tennessee. Another deal made a little over $50,500 in Los Angeles this morning. These profits are huge right now, and we're gonna ride this wave as long as we can. But regardless of what happens, whether the market continues to climb, if the market cools off a little bit, whatever happens, we're still going to be making a lot of money. We're going to utilize whatever opportunities are there in order to make more money. And that's the thing that so many people don't recognize. They think they're going to get in but they're usually a little bit too late if they're trying to time something. We're not timing anything. We're always a day early and $1 long, as opposed to the other version of that, when they are a day late and $1 short.
I love it so much, Phil, and it's incredible. And obviously, you're very empowering. People listening to you, that they need to go check out Phil. If you want to take his free course, he'd be more than happy to take a look at working with you. And that really leads me to the next section of the interview, because obviously, when it comes to real estate, Phil, you're a worldwide leader. You know that you don't time a market. If somebody asks you what's about to happen in real estate, your response is, we don't care at our company, because we're going to make money through the ups and the downs and the in-betweens. And a lot of people said to me, Andy, ask Phil what's going to happen with the real estate industry. And I'm not going to ask, because you don't care what happens to the real estate industry. And you've already shown that through your historical analysis of what's happened with your company, with the people you mentor, with the people you've coached, making money through the ups and the down cycles. But where I want to take the conversation now, which is really important for the people watching the show, Phil, is about mentorship. And for the people that don't know about you, you come from very humble beginnings. You were homeless and living out of your truck. And you really rose to the top of real estate investing by following the guidance of a mentor early on. So let's talk about mentorship for the younger people watching the show. Let's talk about mentorship in general and how important that is to be successful.
Well, I think it's more challenging now than ever, because we have a society that thinks they can go to Google and get their answers. And they think that they can figure things out on their own. And the reality is, mentorship is the fundamental key to success in business or in any endeavor. You look across history, you study anyone who's had any form of impact in their industry or their line of work. All of them, every single one, had mentors. All of them did. Mentoring is the shortcut for everyone. I have mentors in everything, Andy. I mean, I've got a garden. I've got a neighbor who's an expert at gardening. I don't know anything about farming or gardening, but I know my neighbor does. And so I asked the neighbor. That's a simple example. The reality is, you've got to have mentors in life if you want to get anywhere in any level of speed. Sure, you can learn all the lessons on your own. You absolutely can. It just takes you 10, 20, 30 years. And if you're young enough and you want to put up with all that pain for all that many years, you can. Instead, what I tell people is, say, spend the extra time, rather than trying to Google it, spend the extra time to find the people who you may be able to work with, who can teach you what you need to know. It's the shortcut. And by doing so, you not only learn that skill, you learn so much more about life you never thought. So much of what we do as mentors, Andy, believe it or not, is not just the specifics of real estate. I spend a lot of time helping people understand their relationship with money. I can't believe how many people have a deranged view of money, and they think that too much of it makes them evil or too little. And it's crazy, but it's true. And so we have to be psychologists, us mentors sometimes. And we teach them so much more than they think they would ever have needed to know. And so when I look at a young person and they're asking questions like, Phil, how do I become like you? My answer is, get a mentor or mentors. No one, and I mean no one, is a self-made millionaire. That is an oxymoron. Everyone has help. Everybody. Now, for me, yes, I was homeless. I prayed for help. The Lord brought me a mentor, and boy, did he whip me into shape. And I didn't look to figure it out and pull up my boots and figure it out myself. That's such a bad idea. Instead, reach out for help, everyone. Go to the best in the industry that you're looking to be a part of. That is going to be your shortcut and your long-term success. Because the faster you hit your milestones, the faster you can grow even further. And you would be amazed by how much more potential you have when you have a mentor in your corner that can help you overcome all the things you didn't even know you didn't even know. And that's why I'm so passionate about teaching people go get a mentor. And I do it in all facets of my life. If it's learning how to be a great husband, get a mentor. If it's whatever the case may be, the answer is not to go to Google and Google it, because I got news for you. That is not going to get you where you need to go. So often, too, I see, Andy, where real estate investors in particular, they think that if they run into a problem, they can just kind of go figure it out. And then they realize, my goodness, this is the kind of stuff that could never be written in a book or put on a video. That so often the biggest challenges real estate investors run into, there is no way to simply figure it out. You have to connect with someone who's already figured it out and is able to coach you through that. So I hope everyone listening is crystal clear on this point. If you take nothing else away from this interview, get a mentor.
Phil, that's wonderful. And of course, that's how you come up with the name Freedom Mentor for your program. It's really incredible. You're a mentor and a coach to many of the most successful real estate professionals in North America, a best-selling author. Your YouTube channel is off the hook. Everybody knows about your whiteboard. You actually have trained people who are now training other people. I mean, it's really incredible. It's really a lot of this whole industry has started with you, Phil. Let's first of all, thank you for cutting out some time. I know you're in between funding deals before the show and after the show for the people you're mentoring out there in the world. And I wanted to end the show with a question about roadblocks. We have a lot of younger entrepreneurs. They watch the show, Phil, and they're building something and they're watching you and they're saying to themselves, man, Phil has it going on. I mean, this is great, but I'm maybe struggling a little bit. I'm having a tough time. Maybe I have a roadblock, or maybe there's an angle in the road that I wasn't expected, or maybe there's a pothole, and maybe these younger entrepreneurs are freaking out a little bit and they don't know what to do. So maybe you could provide some mentorship right now to the younger entrepreneurs watching the show who are facing a challenging time, and let them know what they need to do to get through it, and that they're not alone getting through that tough time.
Sure. So this is something that my mentor taught me, that at times when you have a major problem, the key is not to look at the problem, but to look at the motivation behind what you need to accomplish. Like, why? What's your burning why? Why is it so important that you do this? So my example would be homeless. When you're homeless, you got a really good motivation that is there 24/7. And it's your burning why, and that is, I don't want to be homeless anymore. I'm tired of eating cold Bush's baked beans with a plastic spoon from Wendy's and drinking water from the neighbor's faucet. So what you have is your motivation needs to be, you need to continue to cultivate that. Why is that so important to you? You need to feel that pain. If you think about it and it makes you mad, good. Because if you've got a roadblock, rather than worry so much about overcoming the roadblock, how do I do this? Focus on why you need to do it. Because then magically that motivation comes from within, right? You don't have to watch a program to motivate you. You don't have to watch a bunch of videos of me to motivate you. Instead, all you've got to do is you've got to motivate yourself. And you do that primarily by thinking about your burning why you absolutely have to get this done. And that if you don't do it, if it doesn't work out, how's that going to make you feel? How is that going to go for you? So that will solve a lot of your problems but nobody wants to think about the pain, right? They want to think about how everything's great and wonderful. No, think about that pain. Think about when I was homeless and how much that drove me. That will help you overcome major roadblocks so that then you can connect with that mentor and you can begin that process of success.
I love it so much, Phil. And I'm doing this off the cuff. I don't know if you have a whiteboard marker around you anywhere. Do you have a whiteboard marker around you anywhere?
Absolutely.
Before we go today, what I'd love for you to do is write down 1, 2, 3 words, the top words that come to mind when you're thinking about people who reach out to you that want to join Freedom Mentor. What are some of the things that they're going to be able to accomplish by coming to the Freedom Mentor? What are some of the words that you are going to be very happy that they're going to be feeling or have in their heart or their soul or in their bank account in a few months after they take your program?
Yeah, it's two words, really. It's financial freedom. This is what we do, Andy. We provide financial freedom. Our vehicle's real estate. We feel that's the best vehicle that exists out there to help people get there. But right here, financial freedom. You think about how most people's lives would be different if they just had enough money that they didn't have to worry about money. Just imagine that, right? That's financial freedom. And that's what Freedom Mentor has been doing for almost 2 decades right now. That's why I wake up each morning to mentor others, because I want them to have this same feeling. This is a magical feeling.
I love it, Phil. And this has been a magical interview. You're really, really powerful. You're very motivational. You've got so many successful people that you mentor throughout the country. People are making money with you through the good times, the bad times in real estate. There are no bad times with financial freedom. You figure it out. So again, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show. I think we've uncovered it all. We've peeled it back. So many people, I'm sure, are going to reach out to you and say, Phil, I want to get into this free program. I want to learn about this. And of course, we know that they've got to be willing to do the work. And I love that about your program. It's not simple. It's not easy, but it's worthwhile. And at the end of the road, you get to where you're going with Phil's help. Phil Pustejovsky, you have really done it for us today. And I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series.
Andy, thank you so much. It's been an absolute blast. Also, as part of that free course, you get a copy of my free book. This book here has been a bestseller on Amazon for a long time. You get a free copy of that too, just for being a part of that free course.